Hello everyone. Um, so yeah, just checking that. Right, I did originally want to do this as a video and not a live stream, but because it's such a complicated story, I was struggling to do it in a video without having to pause every 5 seconds to go through the ins and outs of exactly what happened and all that malarkey. Now, right, let's just quickly jump to this for a second. Right, so do this. Right, so there is a lot of things that have happened with regards to Onision, and my last live streams have been extremely broad. So we're going to go through the basic timeline today, and we're also going to talk about a few other topics as well surrounding this story. The first two I'm going to mention um, are Vincent and people saying that Chris Hansen doxed Onision. Actual fact, while I'm doing this, I'll just go back to this. Vincent nor Chris doxed Onision. Chris isn't a YouTuber that just does call out videos. He's not like Repsion. He's not like I Am Alex. He's not like any of those guys or myself. He is an actual journalist. Multiple times in the past, he's gone to people's houses that have been charged with murder, that have been charged with child abuse, that have been charged with a lot of different things on the news to challenge them. So him going to Onision's house isn't out of the purview, and it's something that a journalist would do. Now, a lot of people saying, yeah, but he's a disgraced journalist. It's like, he's still a journalist. Yes, he's had issues in the past, but he's worked on trying to fix those, while he's also working on trying to help other victims. And because this is such a big case, he felt like he had to get involved. Now, with regards to Vincent, who's been falsely copyright striking people, and people are saying, yeah, this could derail the whole thing. Actually, no. What Vincent is doing, yes, it reflects badly on Chris. However, it is not something that Chris can control. It is not something that Chris should have to control. And it's not something that should derail the investigation as a whole. It should be dealt with separately from the investigation. Yes, Chris needs to get a handle on Vincent. I agree with that. However, just because Vincent is doing this doesn't mean that that Chris's points are any less valid because Vincent's doing something. Just doesn't mean anything. At the end of the day, Onision is a monster. Chris is trying to expose that. Vincent just works for Onision. For Chris, not Onision. Now, the thing is, anybody from mainstream media will flag anything. When I did the Chris Benoit videos, they got flagged instantly before they were even live because WWE have the automatic claim thing on. So he might not have thought he was doing something bad, but then when he realised he was, he thought, well, may as well use it to my advantage. Now the thing is, he's not the only one abusing the system. Onision does it. Trish Paytas does it. A lot of people do it. And they do it a lot. Now, the problem is, because of YouTube's shitty system, they're allowed to. Because of the way YouTube does it, they're allowed to. YouTube have the perfect reason to get rid of Onision because he does false DMCs. But they won't because they just won't. At the end of the day, Onision needs to be stopped. He's been bad enough Twitch and he's been bad enough Patreon. Now, let's do a little dive into his love life, shall we? Right, so relationship timeline. Here we are. Oh, right. So these are the main people he was in a relationship with. The main ones we will talk about are Shiloh, Billy, Sky, Kai, Sarah. And we will mention Guy's sister, which is Natuzia. I'll call her Net. So, right. The main thing to remember, Greg and Sky were friends in school, started a relationship while they were in school. While they were in a relationship, Greg did try it on with Sky's sister. Okay. And then there was issues of Sky's mother calling out Greg for his anger and abusive behaviour. Right. Okay. Now, Greg turns 23 in 2018. And it's about at this point, and then in 2008. In 2010, so he'll be about 25, actually be just over 24, he started talking to Shiloh, right? Shiloh's 17. Threatens divorce. Greg turns 25. Shiloh contacts Greg through advice, asking advice to get over an abusive boyfriend. Greg shows Shiloh the divorce papers after they've been talking for about a year. Although it doesn't show it here, they had actually been talking for about a year. Before Shiloh turned 17. And Greg started the divorce proceedings with Sky because he was in love with Shiloh. Now, they met in the first time in Pennsylvania, where he opts to purchase plane tickets to fly the rest of the way. Greeting first and begin dating privately. Shiloh says they had sex almost immediately upon Greg's arrival. According to Shiloh, her mother notified local police, resulting in Greg's computer being searched under suspicion of child pornography because Shiloh was under 18. Which this is largely due to Shiloh's age being at the time and the presence of camera equipment in the hotel room. After this brief meeting, the pair separated. Greg and Shiloh dye their hair orange together. Shiloh's introduced. Shiloh turns 18, spends her birthday with Greg. Sky turns 25. Adrian turns 26. Shiloh's 18. Shiloh suffers a grand mal seizure. This is June 2011. In the shower due to stress. This comes after Greg had made a comment telling her that she was clinically obese and she had to lose weight because he couldn't pick her up while they were having sex. More like he wasn't finding her attractive anymore because she had curves. Also, Greg uploads a video of Shiloh forgot me of having suffered the seizure resulting in partial memory loss, which is common after a seizure. Greg later deletes the video due to public backlash. Shiloh defends Greg's decision to not take her to the hospital because she was being abused. There has actually been a video while they were together that's been released where she was recording something. He comes in the room, starts verbally abusing her and throwing things at her. And the look on her face is just absolutely defeated. Then she's in sleep. It's next to his computer, and she could sexually service him whenever he wanted. Also mentioned that her behaviour in certain parts of the video could be attributed to having a pet seizure during her sleep due to stress. Entirely possible. They have a major breakup in June 2011. Charlotte moves back to Canada. Then Greg tries to make Charlotte seem insane. Charlotte threatened me, explaining that he was afraid for his safety. He says that police resulting to be taken to a mental institution. Garrett lost the truth, proves how unstable Charlotte was, and the vast majority of viewers sympathised with her. He removes the video. This is where he's having regrets about divorcing Sky. Because just over the phone how lonely he was. Greg also sends an email to Sky's young sister discussing what happened with Charlotte. At this point, the young sister is about 21, 22. Then Greg starts an unofficial relationship with Hannah Mix. Then there's the gay kiss video. Then he says on Facebook he regrets divorcing Sky. Announces his breakup with Hannah Mix. His first alimony payment is due. Begins dating Adrienne. Both the Hannah Mix and the Adrienne happened for about a month. Greg tweets that Sky is supporting him during his and Adrienne's breakup. At this point, at some point after this, he and Adrienne get back together. Greg flies to Texas to meet Adrienne in person for the first time. Greg uploads She Fixed Me, discussing how Adrienne helped fix his emotional troubles. Then he announces the breakup. Guy sends first of many fan tweets to Greg. At this point goes by the name by Taylor, and he identifies as a woman. Greg and Adrienne break up for this final time. Greg goes to insinuate that night on Twitter, on his Twitter and Facebook, that she gave him an STD. Then she does a lengthy Google Plus post to defend herself. Greg wins Adrienne back. Tries to win Adrienne back by leaving a string of voicemails, which doesn't work. Charlotte and Greg announce they are back together and engaged. Greg and make corresponding videos about unclean vaginas. Charlotte was complaining about women that don't clean down there, and Greg's analogy was that his exes at houses says that Adrienne's house was dirty, basically saying she was down there, she was unclean down there. A long email Adrienne wrote to a friend detailing her relationship was leaked, and she asked people to stop spreading it. Obviously, not very nice. Greg uploaded Do I Have an STD? Where he goes to Planned Parenthood with Charlotte to get STD testing. Then he reveals his results. Then it drops off the 100 most subscribed list. Kai turns 17. Adrienne gives permission to spread her email, the letter, and reacting to the STD video. Greg and Charlotte announce they're expecting. Sky uploads of hers video fell from Sky Channel, announces Greg's divorce is finalised. Kai tweets about his love for Greg for the first time despite not talking to him yet. Greg turns 26. Bear in mind Kai is about 16, 17 at the time. Greg promotes Sky's new channel on his Speaks channel. Then there's that video. Greg announces Charlotte accepts this and that she will be on a plane soon to go to hospital in Canada. The video receives immediate backlash from viewers that have concluded Charlotte was not suffering from sepsis. Now, this pisses me off because, granted, Washington and Canada are very close together. In actual fact, there's literally just a border between the two. What was wrong with Charlotte going to an American hospital and getting help and Greg paying for it? At this point, his YouTube channel would have been quite lucrative. He would have been bringing in a fair bit of money. So he couldn't have paid for a D&C. Goodbye Shiloh, containing a monologue of the last couple of years after this. It becomes apparent Shiloh's left the country and returned to Canada. In Canada, then in December, in Canada, Shiloh is taken to the emergency room for severe abdominal pain, no vaginal bleeding. She's given heavy-duty painkillers and emergency D&C to remove the deceased fetus. After coming to, she asks for Greg. During this time, Shiloh's mother hides her daughter's passport to prevent her from going to sea. Greg then gives Shiloh the money for a replacement passport. However, she spent it, as well as the money she got for pawning the engagement ring. And then goes on about Adrian again, complaining, and then in January 19th of 2012, complains about his alimony payments to Sky on social media and video of her Easter live, where he claims Sky stole from him by lying to the court, and inspires some of his fans to maliciously attack and arrest Sky online. Sky responds on Facebook, says she refuses to play Greg's mind games and will not participate in the drama. She got PTSD. She was in heavy counselling due to mental abuse she suffered, which has caused her to have situational depression and PTSD. Greg and Shiloh officially break up for the last time. Emails Sky's sister informing her he's pushed a video of her into the archive. Greg announces he found out Shiloh cheated on him, which is where he tries to say that the child that Shiloh lost was not his. Greg tweets, "Soulmate, where are you?" Kai replies, "Here." The DMs start between Kai and Onision. Greg sends an email to Sky accusing her of only being interested in his possessions. She does not respond. Sky attempts to apologise to Greg for cheating. He does not accept her apology and calls her cheating scum. Greg announces he's trying to take Charlotte to court on Judge Judy to get his money back that he lent her. Later that day, he announces he will not be going on to Judge Judy because Charlotte is Canadian. Because she's in Canada, so she's not, she's not American. She's not based in America, so it's a bit pointless. Greg sends Sky 2 more emails, one asking why she lied on legal documents, another one claiming that he's broke, which was a lot of bullshit. After witnessing his breakup with Shiloh, Adrian emails Greg in an attempt to give him support and end the drama between them. She apologised for 34 things she said out of anger. Greg and Kai begin privately February 2012. Greg and Kai begin privately dating. Greg had previously consulted a lawyer to see if it was legal to date Kai while he was underage. Payments. He sends Sky an alimony payment, and on the receipt comes with the statement, "You are greedy, blank, and have no honour." Now, the thing is, Greg, and this is a legal thing, Sky helped you raise your channel. You began your channel while you were with Sky. She helped you make videos. She was in videos. She helped you come up with the ideas for videos. She helped you edit videos. So therefore, she had a hand in creating your career, your job. So any money you earned, she had a stake in that because A, you were married, and B, she helped you do that. So it wasn't a case of she was stealing from you. You were earning money from work that she helped you do. Thus, she gets a portion of it. That's the way it works. If you don't want that to happen, then you get a prenup. It's that fucking simple. Greg proposes to Guy over Skype. Greg begins to wear a ring, saying that he's been keeping his private life private. Greg goes to New Mexico to meet Kai in person for the first time. Sometime during his stay in New Mexico, he rents a house. Greg announces to his fans that Adrian apologised for lying and requested his friendship. He sources her February email, quickly responds on social media saying he twisted her words and she regrets sending the email and she pleads with him to stop talking about her online. Charlotte turns 19, Sky turns 26, Adrienne turns 27. Sky uploads her last video to Fell From Sky and abandons her Fell From Sky accounts. Emails Sky's sister asking how she's been. Greg announces his alimony payments to Sky, making him suicidal. Greg later admits that he was not suicidal, he was just trying to manipulate Sky into terminating their alimony agreement. Greg sends Sky a flurry of email trying to make her dissolve the alimony agreement. This is something that I've noticed. It wasn't the first time he did this. When he was forced to do something he didn't want to do that wasn't in his best interest when he was in the military, instead of saying, look, I made the wrong decision, I shouldn't be here, instead of being honest and saying, look, I made the wrong decision, I shouldn't be here, I don't think any of this is right, etc., so on and so forth, he took the way out that makes other people that are actually going through mental illness, it lessens their impact, shall I say. He put a gun to his head so that he would get a medical discharge from the military. And then he did it again with Sky. It didn't work with Sky though. It worked with the military, it didn't work with Sky. After receiving no response from Sky, Greg once again sends her a flurry of email telling her he's lost respect for her for not following the initial divorce contract and threatens to discontinue alimony payments. Now, the initial divorce contract, actually, I'll have to find that. Onision, Sky. I spelled that wrong, I know. Images, right. So, see if I can find a picture. Right, here it is. Right. New tab. Right. I, Gregory Blank, promise that I will take care of Blank's housing, food, water, and electricity, so long as no sufficient abuse of these resources occurs. Sky does not in any way violate anyone else in the household, blah blah blah. If Sky chooses not to live in the same house as Gregory, he will provide 1,000 allotment unless the allotment exceeds 30% of his income, in which case he will only provide 30%, which will expire on 22nd of the 11th, regardless of the living quarter changes, when living quarter changes occurred. To be clear, the allotment will never exceed 30% of Gregory Blank's income. If after December blah 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 is not ready to move out, Gregory will offer another 12 months free housing, water, electricity, so long as no significant abuse of these resources occurs. And Sky Blank does not in any way legally violate anybody else's household. However, line B will no longer be an available option to her. Sky forfeits all ownership rights to blah blah effective immediately. If Sky Blank moves out after 12 months, she needs to move back in, so long as it is within 2 years of December blah blah blah. Both terms are followed. She may return until right. So He tried to say that that was their illegal legal agreement, and he then compared his alimony to Sky to slavery, and in his video, alimony is slavery. Now, that agreement didn't stand up in court, by the way, at all. At all. Kai and Greg's relationship turns long term. Greg emails Sky's sister asking if they want to hang out. Greg returns to New Mexico to rent a place and to secretly live with Kai. Kai's family believes he's living in his college dorm when he's not. Greg emails Sky's sister an email offering to pay her enough to live on if she signs her channel over to him. Kai turns 18. The thing is, at this point, they've got a bit of this mixed up because Kai was still 17 when they got married. So, yeah. Greg emailed Sky's sister asking if she would like to work with him making YouTube videos. Greg claims that their partnership is going to pay more than any job she's ever had before. Greg announces his fiancée Kai to his fans. An Instagram picture of them kissing, matching tattoos. Greg turns 27. They get married in New Mexico behind Kai's family bike. They then move to Washington into Greg's house. Greg emails Sky asking her to call the IRS to help out sort out a 2010 filing issue. Greg asks Sky emails Sky asking if he can pay off her alimony in bulk. Then Sky's sister, matching tattoos. Kai's snail mail stalker sends a letter to Kai's parents informing them the depth of Kai's relationship. That was all Repsion, by the way. Greg and Kai have a wedding with friends and family. Kai announces he is pregnant on Tumblr, showing a picture of his baby bump that states that the baby is due in December. Kai announces he no longer will show up any baby bump pictures. Sorry, got an itchy ear. Greg emails Sky complaining she didn't help him by calling the IRS, resulting in the loss of $6,600. And asked if he can pay her alimony in bulk. Greg uploads a video complaining about a doctor that he wanted to go to do an expensive test on Kai. He and Kai are soon to be a child for Down syndrome. Those tests aren't expensive, by the way, Greg. Even back then they weren't. Kai announces she will no longer post baby bumps for the second time. Greg announces he and Kai will no longer share their child online due to death threats. Kai turns 19. Greg emails Sky's sister offering to hang out and play video games. Greg turns 28. Then this is where he reveals that one of his relationships was Hannah Mix. Sarah turns 14. Sarah and Kai begin talking to each other online. She's 14. Billy turns 18. By this point, Billy and Kai have been in conversation for a bit, but they didn't do anything until she was over 18. Kai jokes about grooming Sarah. Kai comes out as bisexual and genderqueer on Twitter. Kai begins to try and get different names and uses their pronouns. Kai comes out as non-binary. Kai and Greg make coming out videos together for Kai's bisexuality. Kai emails Sky once again asking if you pay off alimony in bulk. She doesn't respond. Emails again. Once again she doesn't respond. Sarah turns 15. Sometime after this, Kai begins talking with Sarah romantically about kissing Sarah once she's turned 18. Kai turns 21. So that is an age difference of 6 years. and Kai's an adult. Greg and Kai get into a public spat over a musician that Kai liked that blocked Greg. Greg emails Sky about the harmony. Greg turns 30. Kai begins talking with Billy. Kai tweets Billy asking if she wants to be his girlfriend. Billy visits Kai and Greg for the first time. Greg asks Billy if she's ever thought of dating Kai, etc. Kai comes out as agender in a video. He also requests use pronouns for him. Kai and Billy break up. Kai decides to separate from Greg after an incident known as Cuddlegate, which is where, while Kai was out of the house, Billy and Greg cuddled naked. Kai announces he separated from Greg and that Greg cheated on him with Billy. Greg and Kai announce that they are back together and planning to attend marriage counselling. Sarah is introduced to the idea of a relationship with Greg and Kai. Bear in mind, throughout this, Sarah's still not even 18 yet. Billy turns 19. Billy is invited to the house again. Greg uploads videos of Greg and Kai to Instagram, where Billy's blue hair can be seen in the background. Threesome with two individuals. Greg explains he had a threesome with two amazing individuals in an bro video. Billy uploads a video of her, officially letting viewers know that they are dating again. He emails Sky's sister, asking how life is overseas. At one point, she told him she had moved to Germany in an attempt to get him to stop contacting her. He doesn't. So she moved to a different country, hoping that he would get the idea, and he doesn't. Sarah turns 16. Kai tweets about getting to meet Sarah in 6 days. She's 16. Sarah visits Greg and Kai for the first time. During this visit, there are jokes between Greg, Kai, and Billy are in a love square with Sarah. Sometime after, Sarah would confide a tumultuous blah 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 blah. Haley tweets a picture of Kai wearing Lane Bot merch. Sarah moves in with Greg and Kai. Right, come on. And the whole thing with Billy happens. Sarah goes back and forth. Sarah turns 19. Kai turns 23. Sorry, Sarah turns 17. Kai turns 23. Greg turns 32. He emails Sky's sister again, doesn't respond. Then he starts stalking Sky's sister online. Fuck. And there was more to do with Isla. So Sarah again comes for a visit. During this visit, the idea of romantic relationship is introduced again. Sarah turns 18. Sarah returns home. Sarah cuts Greg and Kai out for life for the first time. Kai turns 24. Greg turns 33. Sarah goes to visit over the holidays. Sarah comes to visit again in January of 2019. Greg texts Sarah requesting it to make a video denying the grooming allegations that have been leveraged against him and Kai. Sarah begins to show hesitation about making the video, so Greg texts her again with specifics on what exactly he wanted her to include in the statement. He would later call her and tell her to be an adult. Greg texts her apologising for the way he treated her, blah blah blah, mentioned an NDA. Sarah visits again, only to cut them off and leave. Sarah releases a video trying on my old girl clothes, featuring Greg ripping Kai's wedding dress apart. Greg releases an Onision speak. Did I forget where he addresses a fallout with Madison? Kai comes out as a transgender man. Greg pressures Sarah to come back so they can spend time together as friends. Sarah comes to visit Greg and Kai again. During this time, Greg asks Sarah to date him post 3-way. Sarah leaves home leaves for home again. Sarah comes to visit again while Kai is in New Mexico. They cheat on Kai together. Greg breaks up with Sarah. Sarah turns 19. Then that happens. Then, not long after, Sarah makes a series of video posts mocking Greg on Twitter before admitting that she was hurt by the remarks. He would also make it seem that all the exes, Billy, Sarah, Shiloh, Sky, they were all crazy. They all had both bipolar, they all had this, they all had that, they all had this. It's like, just because somebody has a mental illness doesn't mean they're crazy. I know that sounds a little weird, but trust me. Just one sec. I'll go back to here a second. Oh, that one. There we go. So, that's the relationships of what went on. So essentially, you have a man in his 30s manipulating people in their mid to late teens to get him to do what he wants them to do. And he thinks that this is okay. And it's like, yeah, but they were 18 when we did something. It's like, that's not the point. If you communicate with somebody before they are 18 with the expressed wish and the expressed knowledge that when they turn 18 you are going to do something with them, that is called grooming, and guess what? It's illegal. Now, the thing is, Greg can be charged with grooming quite easily. He could also be charged with possession of child porn, because we know that Sarah and another girl, Rain, sent Kai pictures, mature, shall we say, pictures of them to Kai. Now, Kai would have shown them to Greg, and Greg will have them somewhere. I can guarantee that. Then on top of that, you have the fact that there's the rating videos where some of those girls are not 18. And they are not fully clothed. And it's like, yeah, but it's only the amount you'd see at a swimming pool. It's like, men don't go into a fucking swimming pool. Nobody goes into a fucking swimming pool with a video camera. Yeah, there are times where it does happen, like Olympics, competitions and things like that. But you're talking about girls that are in their bedrooms taking a picture of themselves with your name written on their body so that you can judge their body. You called Shiloh up because she gained weight, because you didn't like bigger girls. You like your girls underdeveloped, which you admitted to. You also admitted in a separate live stream that your allegations towards Shane, should you have reported them to the police, would have resulted in wasting police time. So basically, you said that Shane was a predator when he wasn't. You know damn well he wasn't. But yeah, you're not a predator, even though your wife had medical guardianship over Sarah. Sorry, your husband had medical guardianship over Sarah. Granted, you weren't foster parents or anything like that, but Sarah would live with you on and off. Your partner had medical guardianship over her. You were her guardian, pretty much, in every sense of the word. Which makes it even more questionable and even more of a legal issue that you did what you did. And there are text messages which I'll link to my previous live stream, because I showed the text messages in that one, where you and Kai have a conversation about you taking Sarah's virginity and not Kai. and how you didn't want Sarah to be with anybody else. You wanted it for one of you two to be the ones to deflower her. And you didn't do anything illegal. Now, there's still two more things to mention on this. I know, I'm sorry. It's a long one. After Chris Hansen visited Greg at home, he was speaking to the police. He found out through the police that their daughter fell out of a second-story window in the home. 1 second. Sorry about that. Right, share. Right, this is their house. Right, this is their house. Pretty obvious this is their house. Their daughter fell out of this window here. Fell out of either one of these. I think it might have been these. Because he mentions that she was close to large landscaping blocks, so it makes me think it was this one here. She fell out of this window that had a screen on it, landed on there. And 1 second. Scrap this. Backfired. Oh, picture new tab. Right. So, when he did that, during the 911 call, the police officer actually asked him, are there any guns in the house? He said no. Event remark. September. 15th of September 2019. Event remark. CM06. Station. Officer SS 0371. From priors, there are firearms in the home, an SKS gun and an AR-15. But he said in the 911 call there was no guns in the house. When the police, and when he got to the police, fucking pisses me off, does this. See if I can find the report. I know Phil covered the report in depth. Where is it? Where is it? Not that one. Police report. Daughter. Fall. I've been at it earlier. CPS. Right. Fucking dickheads. Sorry. Okay. So, let's reduce that a little bit. James Jackson have been communicating with mine. Right. So, CPS have been informed me on the incident that James Jackson had been communicating with minors and was possibly sex abusing girls. In this incident, there was no evidence or information that would allow me to place blah blah blah. into CPS custody because they don't have the evidence at the minute. That is, I think, currently with the FBI, I'm not 100% sure, said that while he was waiting for the ambulance, he took a video showing the daughter, and I asked why he took the video. He said he wanted to be able to show the doctors what happened, the aftermath of the accident, and express concern about the health of his child in relation to the accident. He also said that he thought about needing to show the police what happened and spoke to an incident in 2011 when a friend threatened to kill herself and make it look like he was responsible. So he took a video of himself calling 911 so he could show the police he was not responsible. James's explanation to the video seems strange to me. This is relating to the video where he's on the phone to the police while talking to Shiloh. So yeah, there's that. Deputy Grote said that he has been out to the residence before to a child protective services in checking the children for concerns that James ran a YouTube channel with content about child molestation. Pretty much, yeah. So, another thing where he's ballsed up, just one sec. Another way where he's ballsed up, and he doesn't realise this. Hi, Vanessa. Vanessa, sorry. My pronunciations are bad. So yeah, the child fell out the window, which should have been locked, and the screen should have been nailed in place, but the child was able to open the window, push the thing out, fall on the ground. She had multiple skull fractures and a subglegal and a subdural hematoma. Luckily, it wasn't life-threatening, but it could have been. And do you want to know what he was doing while his child was in hospital with those injuries? He was sat next to her, yes, granted, making vile tweets on Twitter about how he wanted to have sex with people and get them pregnant. Another issue that's come up as a result of the visit to Onision's home is he's now suing Repzion and Chris Hansen. Now, the reason why he's fucked up, and I don't think he realises this, the reason why he is fucked up in this instance is because it's not funny, but he's fucked up because he's filed for a personal protection order against Hansen and Repzion because he's saying that they're stalking him. Now, the thing is, Repzion's a social commentary channel. Granted, Repzion doesn't live far from Onision, but he's never visited Onision's home. He's never been anywhere near. And he's got too much going on in his own life to actually go to Onision's house, and he never would. Because he's a YouTuber. Chris Hansen is a reporter, so Chris Hansen will go to people's houses. But he's not stalking him, he just wants Greg to defend himself. But he's not willing to pay Greg for the amount of money Greg is wanting him to pay for him to be able to defend himself. Which, if you really wanted to defend yourself, you wouldn't be asking for fucking money. You just wouldn't. You just wouldn't. And people that do that are fucking... Ugh. Anybody that's requested any information off him, he wants them to pay him. He wants them to give them money. And they refuse to do it. But the thing is, if the personal protection order goes to court and he does end up trying to sue them for defamation and harassment and this, that and the other, Greg then has to prove that what Hansen and Repzion are saying is incorrect. Now, the problem is, both Rain and Sarah have evidence to the contrary. They have evidence to prove that those conversations happened before they were 18, and in both cases, before they were 16. And that there was pictures sent both ways before they were 18, and the same with Shiloh. There's proof on all those. Granted, Shiloh's might be out of the purview of statute of limitations, Sarah and Rain are not. because their statute of limitation only hits when they turn 18. And both of them have not long since turned 18. I think Sarah's 19 and I think Ray's 18 or 19. So they've still got another 6-7 years on their statute of limitations. And he's saying it's all bullshit. He was saying that Hanson was shouting through the door. No, Hanson just said, I want to get your side of the story. I want you to defend yourself. But instead of answering the door and trying to defend yourself, if you're in the wrong, or just ignoring him, if you didn't do it, then you'd open the door and defend yourself. If you did do it, you should have just stayed quiet. Because what you've done is you've essentially royally fucked yourself, because you have to prove in court that you did not do what these people are saying. And the problem is, they can prove otherwise. Quite easily. The FBI have an investigation open. One sec. See if I can find that. Onision FBI. Images. Right, here we are. Show new tab. And it's like Greg saying, oh, it didn't work. It's like, fuck off, Greg. Investigations aren't like that. And I, of all people, will know that. This is a non-subject. We've received numerous calls. This is part on the FBI. We've received numerous phone calls from around the country. He is known on YouTube as Onision. Our detectives are aware. Also, the FBI has opened a case and are reviewing his video content. The RP is reporting a YouTube video that depicts a skit from August. Now, that's from this article from Newsweek. Fuck off. YouTuber Onision has open FBI investigation. Incident from September resurfaces. I've got Onision. Fuck off. There's Shiloh. There's the 2-year-old daughter falling out of the window, and he's like, "Oh no, this never happened. This never happened." And it's like, really, bitch, really? You want to try that excuse that it never happened? That what we're saying is bullshit? Fuck off. Now the thing is, he's fucked himself over multiple times. You've fucked yourself over multiple times in this, because you've admitted you like underdeveloped girls. You've gone after girls still in their teens. There is proof to this. And there are multiple people. It's like, yeah, okay, if you would just go off what Sarah and Ren are saying, it's bad. But then you have Isla and Billy that are able to back up Sarah quite consecutively, because they were all in the house at the same time. We have a clear case of something that should never have happened happening in that house. I can tell you, when I was a child, my childhood home, the window in my bedroom and the window in my brother's bedroom were both able to open. But when we were young, when we didn't know better, like when we were 2, those windows were kept locked. We weren't allowed to open those windows. We don't have screen windows in this country. But it is common knowledge that you do not leave a window unlocked near a fucking 2-year-old. And then the fact that he was sat next to her in the hospital on his phone tweeting about having sex with people. And the fact that with Shiloh, you didn't get her medical help twice when she needed it. And possible other times, like, there is speculation that on some of the videos where you've recorded while she's sleeping, then she may have had seizures during her sleep, and you did nothing then. I can tell you now, if I was to have a seizure, my husband would be on the phone to emergency services straight away. I'm telling you that now. And the fact that he would rather get the video camera out and record people when they're going through something medical, even his own fucking daughter. And then he's trying to paint these girls badly because they have BPD or they have PTSD. It's like, first of all, you probably gave him PTSD, you dick. Secondly, you also choose people that are from troubled homes, that have not the best home lives. And because they're easy to manipulate, they're easy to get to do what you want them to. You're a manipulator and you're an abuser, and the world's finding that out, and you don't like it, and it's kicking you in the balls. Oh God, Onision really pisses me off. So yeah, there's that fun. As I said at the beginning, what Vincent is doing with regards to the false DMCs is something that needs to be dealt with behind the cameras. But what Vincent is doing should not alter or change what Chris is doing. What Chris is doing should not be derailed by something Vincent is doing. And no, Chris did not dox Onision. Onision's address is everywhere, first of all. And secondly, he's a reporter. He goes to people's addresses. That's what he does. So no, he didn't dox him. The whole Vincent thing is something that should be dealt with separately. The Mike Morris thing I've not really had a chance to look into, but there is questions of impropriety on that front. Again, I'm not 100% sure on that, so we'll just have to wait and see. What we are doing is we need YouTube and Twitter to listen. He's off Twitch. He's off Patreon. However, we need YouTube and Twitter to listen. He's still on Twitter. He tweets every day. And some of the stuff he's coming out with is absolutely vile. He needs to be off both platforms. YouTube have the perfect reason to get rid of him, but they're not. So, you know, what are you going to do? With that being said, I'm going to rest for a bit before I play some Minecraft or something. I'm hoping to have a video up next week. Like I said, did I initially record this as a video, but it was a bit too long-winded. And also, if I do it this way, I can show you some of the proof. Just ignore the headset. I do have a video next week, which is on the drama in the mukbang community and how it's also very criminal as well. And then the week after that, I have a video as to what happened with me last year and why my upload schedule was shit last year. I have a very good reason, I promise. I'm hoping to do that this year where I do 2 or 3 videos a month and record them on days where I feel strong enough and then go from there. That I go into more on the third video, which, like I say, hopefully should be uploaded shortly. There is down in the description a Discord link if you want to come say hi. You will be banned quite quickly if you aren't nasty to anybody. You can recommend video topics there. We can have discussions about specific people, and things like that. So that's down there as well. I'm gonna go offline for about an hour, maybe, and then probably just chill for a bit, and then might play some Minecraft. Hopefully my friend should be finishing work soon, and she might jump on, so might be able to have some fun with her on Minecraft. So, with that being said, be safe, have fun, be good, and I will hopefully see you next week. Hopefully not so irate and pissed off. I don't know why, but Greg just gets under my fucking skin. He really gets under my fucking skin. I don't know, whenever I mention Onision, Pete just goes... He really does. He really doesn't like the guy. Life. I tell you, life. Sorry I look a mess, but when you've got a chronic condition, you can't help that. So, be safe, be good, have fun, and I will see you soon.